If you enjoy what we do here, you should definitely check out youtube.com/@MWPNewsGaming. It's our new YouTube channel where we do basically talking like this while also playing video games, old games, older games. We'd like to do new games, but those cost money. So old games, older games, retro games, forgotten games, all kinds of games. While I talk about it, get frustrated, all that kind of cool stuff. We talk about, movies, TV shows, anything like that. YouTube.com/@MWP News Gaming. Please be sure you subscribe. That'll help us out a lot. And if you feel like we're doing a good job, please donate. Co-fi.com/MWP News. Thank you and enjoy this episode. Good evening and welcome to the Backlog Files. I am Adam on this. We are at the end of May now. Almost June, almost halfway through the year, which is one of those things that just feels existential the older we get. Isn't that fun? Isn't that the way it always is? But today we're here to talk about a game about digging a hole. That's the name of the game, a game about digging a hole. I've heard of this game. I saw it had a lot of traction on YouTube. A lot of people were playing and talking about it, and it does not bury the lead. It is a game about digging a hole. You dig a hole. It's got a lot of these idle elements to it where you dig the hole by, using the shovel. The shovel has a battery because shovels do that. And the more you dig, the more ores you find. The more ores you find, the more you can sell them. The more money you get from selling the ores, the more upgrades you can get to your shovel, and more dynamite. The more stuff you get like that, the more you can dig until you find treasure. And that is what the entire game is. It sounds like I'm being dismissive. It sounds like I'm being overly simplified. I don't think that's, the case necessarily. But whatever. I mean, it's actually pretty fun. I did like one of the big things that I find myself looking for in video games now is if I can lose time playing it, meaning I don't recognize how long I've actually been doing it for. Like, last night I recorded the second episode for Pac-Man World 2 for MWP News Gaming, and I, it clocked in like 2.5 hours, and I was like, oh, I beat this entire game in like 3.5 hours. But then it was also like, oh wow, that did not feel like 2.5 hours. A game about digging a hole was kind of the same thing. I played it for about 5 hours, dug my hole, um, and had a lot of fun doing it. There's a certain satisfaction to it. I wouldn't say the game's perfect. I think that like the way in which you dig the hole could be improved upon. Like, I think the fact that you are you know the goal is to dig a hole, obviously, but the issue is like the dirt will stay. So like if you aren't like perfect in your aim, there will be particles of dirt that just kind of hang in the air. And if you're trying to jetpack out, you will hit these particles of dirt and it will stop your progress. It's kind of a little bit of an annoyance. And I think that is something that, you know, I, I get that the physics engine in this game is not 100%, you know, perfect. Um, and I'm not saying it has to be, but something like that's a little annoying because then even if you're trying to clear out that those high up things, it's hard to get to, and really all they serve is like this weird like faux ceiling. Um, and if that's the case, then what's the point? I guess would be the question I have. Like, what's the point of doing that? Um, so I do kind of appreciate it. I think that like I think the other thing is like at a certain point it does get repetitive, and I think that like that is something that is just the case with games that are built like idle games. Um, because it's like you get to the top, you have to, or the bottom rather. Like I don't think the what's it called, the rewards and the money are scaled perfectly. That's probably my biggest complaint with the game, is that it's too easy to upgrade everything to the max level. And then by the time you get to the bottom, you're like, okay, like you're not at the bottom yet, but you're already maxed out. So really, the only reason you have to go up is to replenish your health and replenish your jetpack and replenish your dynamite. So like, it all it does is break the flow of what you're doing. Um, and if that's going to be the case, I don't know this is necessarily the best way to do that. Like that's the thing, is that it's like if you're gonna play a game like this, what you have to do is you have to properly scale out what it is, so that way you constantly are upgrading through the entire thing. If you're not constantly upgrading, you're not, you know, you're not doing what needs to be done. Um, and if that's the case, like all you end up doing is just like, okay, well now I'm at this point. It's like, what incentive do I have to go further besides like, okay, you have to find the treasure, but is is that something that is worth doing? And it's like that was the question that I found myself grappling with, where it's like, all right, I've gotten down here, I found platinum. It's like, is this worth continuing? Because like, there's nothing else to upgrade, and the gameplay loop of these games will always come from upgrading, not from discovering the treasure. If you don't like, if I'm not going to keep upgrading, then what am I doing this for? Like, part of the fun of this is like not reaching the end; it's just continually upgrading. So I don't think that that's something that, like, I think that's kind of the mistake that this game makes, is that the constant, you know, the constant flow of that hit, which is the, you know, the entire point of the game, is obstructed, so to speak. And if that's something that's going to be obstructed, then what are we doing here? What's, you know, if you want the player to, you know, continually upgrade, then what are we doing? Because then at a certain point, you're just like, so why, like, what is the point of this? And that was the question that I found myself asking several times over. What is the point of what we're doing here? And that, like, obviously the point of the game is to find the treasure. Obviously that's what we're here for. Like, you need to keep me engaged at that level. If you're not keeping me engaged at that level, that I'm gonna have a problem playing the game, especially if you're going to be doing it with this, you know, with this idle incremental gameplay loop. Um, but the graphics are fine, and I think that, like, while you're in that loop, the game is fun. The issue is you're not in that loop for that long. It's very quick to get out of that, and then you're like, all right, well now what? Like, now where do I go? Um, so yeah, I mean, I would say play the game. I think that, like, it's one of those things where it's like it's enjoyable enough and it's cheap. It's not like you're gonna sit here and spend a lot of money on this game for a lackluster experience. It's definitely worth the price of admission. But I think there's definitely room for improvement. There's definitely more space for them to have done more. Maybe in the future there will be more updates. I don't think there really is necessarily a need, because I think that once you play through it once, you kind of have your answer about what there is. I forgot what I was saying. I paused because there was a loud noise I wanted to avoid. Um, but yeah, I think that there's definitely, you know, there's room for improvement here. I think that there's definitely it's a great game. Um, but I don't think this is something that I think it's something that is worth playing at least once. But we'll wrap up there for today. We will have another episode next week. I haven't picked the game yet, because we've been playing a lot of games for the YouTube channel. We just put up, um, so far as of recording this, and as this goes up tonight, there will be 3 episodes up. Episode 1 about Pac-Man World 2, Episode 2 about Disney Extreme State Adventure, both of which were GameCube games, and PlayStation games from the early 2000s. I played as a kid, and I go back and replay. And then we also have another game from the early 2000s, which is the one that's going up as I record this, actually. It's premiering, about Pokemon Pinball Ruby and Sapphire, where I strive to do something I never was able to do as a kid, which was complete the Pokédex in that game. And that is a frustrating experience. Let me just say, and you will be able to experience that. That's all on the YouTube channel. We also have Canned that we're working on multiple episodes of a Sims 2 Legacy Challenge, which, if you don't know what that is, the Sims 2 Legacy Challenge is you are you start out in a new household with no assets, no money. You buy the biggest plot of land, and you have to build it up from nothing to become successful. Now, I have not played The Sims 2 in quite a long time, so this is a slow going experience, and you'll see as it goes through. Um, so yeah, so it's definitely fun. Definitely check it out. It's over at youtube.com/at MWP News Gaming. But we'll be talking about some of those games and more starting next week. So until our next episode, have a great rest of your week.